What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Modern Mortgage Show, where I interview mortgage professionals who share their stories and modern information about the industry. I'm your host, Rocco, and for today's episode, my guest is Rudy Zarate, and he's the branch manager of Texans Mortgage Group out of Houston, Texas. Rudy, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Rocco, for having me, and good morning, guys.
Absolutely. I appreciate you taking the time to be here. So, Rudy, why don't we start off the show? Can you just give us a brief intro and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Rudy Zarate from Houston, Texas. Been in the industry for about 18 years now, going on 19 here soon. Love what I do, right? We're grinding every day. We're ups and downs in our industry. I've been there, done that. So it's a great experience what we're going through right now. But that's a little bit about myself.
So you said you've been in the industry about 18 years.
18 years, yes, sir.
Did you do anything before you got into the industry? Any other type of work?
It was all sales oriented, while I was going to school. Thereafter, I decided, being a doctor wasn't for me. I didn't want to be in a confined, room. When I was doing some internship, I just felt like I just couldn't do it. And sales was just more me, it was just more.
Okay. So what made you then want to get into the mortgage industry specifically?
It's funny you ask, right? And kid you not, some people think I'm always joking, but I didn't even know what a mortgage was. Unfortunately, my parents just didn't have a home. We just rented from here and there, right? So it was crazy when someone approached me back in like 2001, 2000-ish or something like that. I said, hey, man, we're in school. And he's like, let's get in the mortgage industry. And I was like oblivious on what was a mortgage, right? I was like, what's a mortgage? And he's like, what do you mean, what's a mortgage? I'm like, yeah, what's a mortgage? He's like, it's like a home loan. People get home loans. Oh, okay, so home loans, right? I was like, just curious, right? Dug a little more deep into it, and I saw that there was a lot of potential. Obviously, it involved what I like doing while I was working at a sales industry. It's helping the consumer, right? Helping the people. So got my attention, and ever since now, mortgage, I dream about it every night. So it's crazy how I didn't know what a mortgage was, but that kind of led me to the industry, just helping the consumer and the overall challenges that we face every day, and we learn every day as we go as well.
Yep, absolutely. So you mentioned it a little bit. We're in strange times right now. So what are you doing to get past this uncertain period of time that we're in?
It's funny you mentioned that as well, because we're in Houston, as you mentioned, right? Houston, Texas. So we're continuing to stay busy, right? I always try to make a presence in social media. I do a lot of Facebook ads, do videos, campaigns. I've been preaching this for the last 2-3 years, that our industry will change soon. And if you're not out there, some form of another, such as social media, it'll catch up to you. We just experienced this little trend that we're in, where now it's all social distancing. Well, believe it or not, all my campaigns or all my social media videos, now people are reaching out to me that way, right? So it's just like it lined up perfect. And I was like, man, I told you so. Some of my peers here, right? This is where it's going. So just hopefully I'm answering your question. But social media is what we're doing here at our office. We strongly believe it's a tool that could help many in the industry, not just in mortgages, but realtors and insurance agents, because 9 times out of 10, when people are waiting, even unfortunately in a street light, people are on their phone. And if you're not out there, someone else will be.
Very true. And you've been in the industry for a long time now, so you've seen many things. With what you're seeing right now, what do you see happening in the future?
Wow. Here in Houston, right? I'm only going to speak for what I see here. We're always going to need a roof over our head, right? And that's our job, to educate our consumers and let them know the value of real estate, the equity, the long term. And I think if we just sit back on the fence and wait on it, well, it's not going to happen. But us as advocates to explain, like, hey, you need a roof over your head, and they're going to come to you because you were that one preaching the word, I guess you want to say. But I see it still a necessity, right? A car is somewhat a must, right? If you got to drive to work, but you need a roof over your head. You need to take care of your loved ones, and owning home is the best one. So I don't think we're going anywhere. I know we're not going anywhere. So real estate is something I preach every day, and it's paid off. It's a fun industry. I flip the switch now. It could be stressful, but now it's fun, man. It's fun.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you got into the industry because you saw a lot of potential in it when you looked into it. What would you say now, 18 years later, is the most satisfying or rewarding thing about your job?
Learn how to move on, right? And accepting no as an answer, right? Don't take it to heart if a business partner doesn't want to work with you or a client goes elsewhere. I mean, learn from that, but learn to accept it and learn what you could do better on the next transaction, right? And understand that we're not fit for everyone. That was something that I would like pound my head, right? Like I was like, why does this person don't want to work with me, or what's going on? But now I just laugh about it, not in a bad way. It's just, hey, it is what it is. There's a reason why it happened, but you got to take no for an answer and accept it and have fun with it, and don't beat yourself up for it, because I used to do that, and I was like, wow. But now it's just like, hey, we move on. There's too many fish in the pond or in the ocean, that saying.
Yeah, you definitely just need to keep moving forward. And shifting gears here, when you first got started out, other than not knowing what a mortgage was, what were some struggles or obstacles that you'd face early on in your journey?
It was systems, right? It was more like, hey, this is what you do. You go there and you get the business.
Like the operation.
Bring in the business. It's like, okay, what do you do now, right? So these last, we'll say 5 years, I've learned how to offset some of that task, right? You delegate some of that work. I felt that as a loan officer, well, I'm going to have to work on Saturdays and Sundays, nights, weekends, and I'm grinding, check in at Starbucks. But I've learned now that there's systematics out there that you don't need to do that. You can work less time now. It's just delegating tasks to professionals that want to do that work, right? You got to find those individuals that are lined up to do those tasks for you. There's a lot of loan officers out there that think getting paid high comp plan is the way to go, but you create a roller coaster effect by doing that. If you could give in a little and pay, for help, it'll make your job easier, smoother. The communication with your business partners is a lot better, and your trend is going to keep elevating or being consistent month in, month out with your closings. But it's.
Yeah, you definitely can't wear all the hats.
No.
Like you said, it's important to delegate tasks. Once you get over that trust, knowing that someone else can do it just as good as you, and the job can still get done. So when did you learn that was a problem that you needed to fix?
It's funny. I only have like about 6 years. I'm sorry, like 4 years in social media. I would always think, well, why do people need to see what I'm eating? Or why do people need to see where I'm checking in, right? I was like, because my sisters would have it, and I was like, no, it's bogus. People don't even know this stuff about me. Well, finally, a realtor, a good friend of mine, two of them actually just say, man, just get the social media. It's fun, and we could communicate, and you could get business from it. I'm like, okay, business right away. I said, okay, let's go, right? Of course, now I check in and post food, but I kept seeing someone just in my feed. I didn't know they were actually targeting me, right? I didn't know anything about Facebook. Finally, I just clicked on it, and something grabbed my attention by this group, and who I was a member of, and because of them, it elevated my game. It
Mhm.
really did, and that's when I found out, like, wow, I've been doing this backwards. And you mean someone could pull credit for me? Someone could disclose for me? It was just like, why am I doing this all by myself? Like, I'm going nuts. And now it's just been amazing drive, and it's fun. It's fun now.
Yeah, definitely. You got to set your business up to scale before it's actually time to scale.
Of course.
And I know what you mean. Like posting and all of that stuff. I agree with that too. Like, why do they got to see all this? But you
Yeah.
got to play the game, or else you're gonna get left behind. So, given your expertise of 18 years in the industry and your experience, if you were to talk to a loan officer that's just starting out, what advice or what tips would you give to them?
Wow, that's a good one, right? I've had a lot of loan officers, newbies come in and leave, right? Obviously, they took some value when
Yeah.
they left. It's just accountability.
Mm.
You gotta have accountability in this business. If someone's telling you something to do, don't, and then you're new, it's because that individual either knows something, right? And don't come in like knucklehead. Hate to use that word, but we're like, no, you're not gonna tell me what to do. But if these people have showed you that they have numbers, have a system, has built a branch, or has built something good for them, right? Listen to them, because I still get coached, right? I still ask for help, and I can never say I'm on the top. No one is. We're always seeking to be there, but accountability, if you really want it, you know, you'll get it done. You know?
Yeah, even the best have coaches,
Oh,
and
yeah.
accountability is huge because if you're just getting coached and be given strategy and direction, but you have no accountability behind it, it's going to fall through. You need both those things. You need a coach that gives you strategy and direction, but also accountability. So you need the tools and the accountability. Um, and we were talking about this. Let's get into the topic of technology. So, like we were speaking, it's definitely revolutionized the industry. How would you say this, if you can expand a little bit more on it, how would you say it affects and has affected you and your business?
Wow. Technology wise, it's we now have a presence, right?
Mm,
It's free in most cases.
mm,
Depends how you market yourself, but that's something that some people and my peers in my industry don't see. I mean, you have friends that know someone that either wants to buy a home, and I'm going to speak for my business. So as much as you can preach to them that you're a mortgage officer, um, it's huge because technology could take you to places that you never knew you can. Like, say, for example, with you, right? I mean, we met through social media, and here we are, right?
mhm.
So technology these days could take you a long ways if you know how to leverage it, utilize it, be consistent. That's something that should be part of your to-do list every day. It's going back to what I said. It's accountability. It's something I have to do. Like today, I have to do two videos, one with you and one outside, right? So it's just following your agenda and getting it done.
Mhm.
Just how bad you really want it.
Yeah, and like you said, it can definitely get you in front of a wide audience of
Oh yeah.
people, a lot easier and more effective. So, are there any? I know you said some ads, some Facebook. Are there any modern strategies that you guys are using? You said videos, you're taking advantage of to scale your production, or even just maintain better relationships, or just organize and systemize your business.
Yeah. So here's a tip, right? And this is how I got get a few of my business. So join these little groups in Facebook, right? Like garage sale groups,
Mm,
community groups, and the list goes on, right? Real estate groups. And when you do a video, or if flyer really doesn't go that far, it helps, but a video is always best.
Yeah.
Share to those groups, right? Because there's people that are not on your friends group that will now see you constantly,
Yeah.
and that's something I do a lot. So
Yeah, that's a really good point. Just because it's a good way to brand yourself in your community, in your area, because they see you, they see you providing value and posting videos, and that builds credibility and authority. And when they think, I need to buy a house or I need to refinance, they're going to think of you because you've been in their head and you've been staying in front of them this whole time.
yeah, either they're gonna delete you as a friend, or like it, or share it. One last tip, if you don't mind me sharing with this, Rocco, right? Like when you're gonna do a video, if you're a new loan officer, right? There's got to be at least 30 of your, it's real friends, right? Your friends on Facebook. So let's just say 30 as a number. I would send them a private message and say, hey, Rocco, listen, I'm about to post a video. It's going to go out in 5 minutes. When you have a chance, just like it and share it, right? That's all I'm asking from you. Could I count on you? Can I count on you, right? And they're not going to reply and say no. More than likely, they'll say, yeah, I got you, bro, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So you just got in front of their friends groups. Of course, let it not be a loan officer, right? But more than likely, you got in front of their friends group. So those are things that, I mean, take advantage of. I mean, it's free marketing. It works all the time.
Yeah, that's a really good tip right there. Do you use a CRM at all?
I do.
Okay, which one do you use?
I use Top of Mind, and then this other one that's customized. I don't know the name of it, but Top of Mind is one that we use a lot.
What is that, just like managing your pipeline, or does it have like automation set up and stuff
It
like
has
that?
automation set up. It does send out auto texts certain days, updates to my clients, either to realtors or prospects. If I want to do a mass text message like today,
Yeah.
if I want to work this weekend, I can just hit, like I have all the realtors in there. I'll send them a flyer or a quick video. I don't want to work this weekend, right? So, for example, but if I really want to work this weekend, which I try not to, just hit the button, let it go out. It'll send 50 or 100 text messages, and right now they're looking for that lender that can offer certain things that their preferred lender probably stopped offering. You know, you got to set yourself apart and figure out what you're offering that the other lenders are not, and trigger that, sell that.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. It's like you're working, but you're not, because all you did was click a button. And that's the cool thing about technology, because it
Oh yeah.
allows you to automate and streamline tasks in the most effective way possible. So where do you see all of this going in the future in terms of technology, social media, and how it impacts the mortgage industry?
You know, we all make fun of this big mortgage company that's online presence, right? But they were laughing while we were laughing at them, right? It's the one that has like a rocket, right? I think we all know who we're talking about. But those guys did it well, they did it well, and I think us as mortgage professionals, we need to think similar to that, right? Because another epidemic could happen, but let's just put aside that it's going to be forever now, right? And we could get that mindset where now we could make a social media presence always, now get clientele that way. I think it'll work, but
Yeah, I agree with that. So, last few questions here. Let's go to the buyer side now. When you're working with clients, what do you see as like a big misconception that they have going into the process of getting a loan before working with you?
wow. It's really hard to say, right? People are either going to judge you the way you look or what they know of you. Typically, my business for the most part is past database referrals and people who don't know of me, such as through lead campaigns. You try to sell what you're good at, right? Let them know your experience, what you're offering. But it's hard to really answer that question. It just depends who you're targeting to, right?
Mhm.
I target to a certain audience, and I know that I could fit their criterias, that we could see eye to eye, because you could also target to your rate shoppers, but we probably won't see eye to eye. But for the most part, just be honest, just be honest, and I think it will follow, from there.
And you work with a lot of first-time buyers?
I do.
Do
That
you see as, because this is their first time going through the process, do you think credit or down payment is a fear they have or a misconception that they have going into the process?
that is, I've learned how to kind of make that part of my conversational piece,
Hmm.
where if credit's an issue, we have a lot of great credit specialists that could help you raise your credit score, right? Uh, there's some people in my peer where like, hey, be careful when you say that because now you're going to become a credit repair guy. Well, not necessarily. It's just how like, I hate to use the word lure, right? But it's just how I'm bringing them in to help them, right?
Yeah.
Because we all want that help. It's that, again, I'm targeting a certain data, a certain clientele. I'm working volume. That's our business here. We work volume. So if I could get them later down the road, then we won, right? They won, we win. So it's a win-win. So that's what we use, right? First-time home buyers, they like to listen. They like to hear if there's any programs out there for them. Because they don't. Most of the time, the younger generation doesn't have so much money saved up or don't know the process. So some of these programs that we offer, well, can help with that, right? So
Yeah, and that's why finding a loan officer who will sit down, they will educate you and advise you throughout the process and just based on your certain situation, push you in the right direction and what they think is best for you. Um, well, Rudy, I really want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. I had an amazing time speaking with you, and I really, really appreciate your time.
absolutely, thank you, Rock, for the invite.
And to all the viewers watching, thank you, and we'll see you again next episode.